Breaking, Lil Jeff's alleged killer didn't just confess. He screamed it in a prison hallway moments before he was found face down in a mop bucket with 5 stab wounds and a sock stuffed in his mouth. Coincidence? Or karma catching a flight? Landing early and showing no mercy, y'all? What in the Netflix documentary Gone Wrong is going on here? Because if you thought the streets were done talking about Lil Jeff, think again. The man who allegedly pulled the trigger is now dead. His so-called confession is spreading like wildfire across prison wires, and inmates are claiming the truth was tortured out of him. Was it guilt? Was it revenge? Or was he forced to spill before being silenced forever? And baby, the tea gets even hotter. Guards are missing surveillance footage, the warden just went on emergency leave, and a certain Chicago drill OG just posted a cryptic tweet saying, 1 down, 2 to go. So buckle up. Because what's unfolding behind those prison walls makes Rikers look like a Chuck. Cheese dot, this ain't just street justice, it's a deadly expose in real time. And we've got all the receipts dot, so let's rewind. Before the sock, before the stab wounds, before the body bag and the suspiciously wiped down surveillance. Cameras, there was Lil Jeff, a rising name in Chicago's underground drill scene. Known for his gritty bars, unfiltered energy, and a fan base that treated him like the reincarnation of Chief Keef, and Tupac had a baby in the backseat of a stolen Charger. But with fame, especially street fame, comes a long line of enemies, jealous. Rappers, shady promoters, and those ghosts from back blocks who never forgot. And in Lil Jeff's case, one of those ghosts pulled up in broad daylight and turned his come-up into a crime scene. It was a hit that shook the city. Lil Jeff gunned down outside a Southside studio 2 days before his birthday after posting a flex-filled Instagram story with a caption that read, "Only thing I'm ducking is the industry contracts." Tragic irony. Or a warning that went ignored. Now, for months, the case went cold. Witnesses disappeared, phones got lost, and police claimed they were reviewing evidence, like it was a Netflix series and not a murder investigation. But behind closed doors, something else was brewing. Because one name kept coming. Up on those street corners in barbershops. And on burner phones, Marquis Lil Damo Frazier. Lil Damo was no stranger to the system. A known affiliate of the Greystone Hustlers. His rap sheet included everything from armed robbery to witness intimidation. And one very suspicious self-defense shooting that got dismissed due to lack of evidence. AKA everyone involved suddenly forgot how to talk, but the streets never forget. And when Lil Jeff's older cousin AKA Big Ken from 63rd started doing interviews with unnamed sources, saying he knew exactly who did it, the internet turned into a CSI unit with iPhones and Reddit threads, memes, conspiracy boards, fake audio clips, everything pointed to Lil Damo. But still, no arrest, no charges. Just silence. Until 3 weeks ago, that's when Lil Damo, now incarcerated at Middleton Correctional for a completely unrelated gun charge, suddenly stopped eating, stopped talking, and allegedly started writing things down. According to one inmate, who may or may not have snuck out a voice note on a burner, Damo told his cellmate, "They told me to say it. They said if I didn't talk, they'd make sure I could never talk again." Who is they? That's where it gets messy. Because depending on who you ask, they could be a rival gang inside Middleton. Or it could be the guards themselves. Now, here's where things shift from street politics to full-blown conspiracy thriller. On July 12th, just past midnight, the prison goes into lockdown. Inmates claim there were no alarms, just a quiet shuffle of guards escorting Damo out of his cell. One says they saw him get walked down the East Wing wearing a tattered jumpsuit and slippers, mumbling something about making it right. By morning he was dead, stabbed 5 times, sock in his mouth. Bruises across his ribs like someone had used him as a punching bag. Official report? Suspected gang retaliation. But let's be real, the math ain't my thing. Because less than 24 hours after Damo's death, an anonymous clip surfaced on a dark YouTube channel, one with no subscribers, no likes, and a username that looked like someone smashed their keyboard during a seizure. The clip? A blurry audio file that sounds a whole lot like Damo confessing to Jeff's murder. But what got everybody's jaw on the floor He wasn't confessing. He was being coerced. And that, my friends, is where this plot twists harder than a Love and Hip Hop reunion. Now let's talk about that so-called confession. Because baby, it wasn't your average teary-eyed courtroom monologue. Oh no, this was a forced, bloody, behind-the-bars breakdown served with a side of trauma and terror. Word on the wire says the man they called Rico G was snatched up during commissary hours, dragged into an off-camera supply room by 4 inmates in flip-flops and durags. Yes, flip-flops. Because apparently you don't need boots to beat the truth out of somebody. And what did he say? According to one trembling inmate who claims he heard it through the vents, Rico G shouted, "I didn't mean to kill Jeff. I was just the driver. They told me it was just a scare job." Baby, a scare job. You emptied the whole clip and now it's just a scare job? But it doesn't stop there. Sources from inside Yes, those same anonymous tipsters, who mysteriously know everything, say the real twist came when Rico G started naming names. We talkin' full-on laundry list confession. He allegedly named off gang leaders, rappers, dirty cops, and even a former high school coach who apparently laundered money through a fake sneaker business. Chili, what in the Fast and Furious Riker's drift is this? Now this is where the conspiracy machine kicks into overdrive. Because the minute he started whispering names that don't get whispered in prison, boom, dead. Some say it was a hit ordered by the same people he exposed. Others claim the guards let it happen. A few even believe the confession was never real, that he was forced to say those names so the real killers could eliminate their enemies one by one. And get this, before he died, Rico G reportedly wrote the names CJ, Polo, and K9 on the back of a commissary receipt. That receipt vanished. The guard who found his body transferred. The other inmates who were seen nearby, all sent to different prisons the next day. Like baby, if this ain't the Michael Jackson, this is it of cover-ups. I don't know what is, and y'all already know the internet lost its mind. TikTok detectives went full CSI in a matter of hours. One even slowed down leaked security audio to reveal what sounded like "they coming for me next." Another did a side-by-side voice analysis between Rico's final words and an old freestyle he dropped in 2018. Yes, the internet is crazy, but consistently crazy. Meanwhile, on Twitter, one user posted, "Y'all still think Lil Jeff's case was random? Baby, that was an industry cleanse." "Welcome to Drill Illuminati," another said. "Rico G confessed too loud. He forgot snitches don't get stitches, they get streaming. Rights in hell? And the memes? Baby, sickeningly savage." One showed Rico in heaven asking Lil Jeff, "Can we talk?" While Jeff hit him with the Debo punch gif. But what's got everyone really shook is the rumor that Rico G wasn't even the main player, that he was just the pawn in a larger game. Because why else would he be confessing names tied to record labels, gang units, and political figures? And you best believe that confession, whether real, coerced, or scripted, has opened the floodgates, because baby, this prison wasn't just holding inmates. It was holding secrets. And once those secrets leaked, the whole system started to crack from the inside out, which brings us to the real fallout, when the guards, the officials, and the state itself had to face a confession they were never supposed to hear. But oh baby, that fallout, that storm, that reckoning. And just when we thought the drama had reached its peak, when the screams faded, the blood was mopped, and the prison walls stopped whispering boom. The entire Chicago correctional system was hit with a tsunami of investigations, lawsuits, resignations, and some very scared silence. Let's start with the missing footage. How does a maximum security prison suddenly lose 48 hours of camera recordings? The same 48 hours when DeMarcus K-Bar Young, the alleged shooter of Lil Jeff, mysteriously confesses and dies within the same breath. You mean to tell me in a facility with 360-degree surveillance and facial recognition gates, the only working camera was allegedly under maintenance? Next thing they'll say is the mop bucket was self-aware and acted alone, but guess who didn't go quiet? The inmate known only as Milo, the same one who reportedly shared a tear with DeMarcus, went live from an illegal burner phone. Yes, a full IG live from behind bars, and said, That man ain't confess willingly. They made him fold. Like paper. He even showed what looked like blood-stained notes with names scribbled on them. One of those names? Take upon. Another? Pistol Pete 87. And y'all, when those names dropped, it wasn't just clout chasers and bloggers foaming at the mouth. It was the feds. The Bureau of Prisons, the Department of Justice, and even local aldermen suddenly demanding a task force. Why? Because those names are connected to 2 unsolved murders, 1 missing DA, and a Chicago rap label that has a long history of alleged gang affiliations and accidental deaths. And guess who's caught smack in the middle of this bloody game of musical chairs? Officer Carl Doundridge, the very corrections officer who was supposed to be monitoring DeMarcus's cell the night he died. He's now on administrative leave pending a federal probe, and his personal phone records? Leaked, baby. Leaked, and showing multiple encrypted calls made to a number linked to, you guessed it, a known associate of Lil Jeff's cousin. Let that sink in. The cousin of the very man DeMarcus allegedly murdered has ties to a corrections officer who was conveniently off shift the night DeMarcus confessed and died. If that doesn't smell like an inside hit dipped in revenge, I don't know what does, but the plot thickens. The warden, Ms. Letitia Hartwell, resigned 2 hours before a press conference was supposed to begin. 2 hours, left a post-it note that just said, "I won't be the scapegoat." Sis, what do you know that we don't? Meanwhile, the streets are rejoicing. Murals of Lil Jeff are popping up all over Englewood and South Shore. Hashtags like hashtag justice for Jeff and hashtag karma caught him are trending. And just this morning, an unverified account claiming to be Lil Jeff's baby mama posted a photo of his grave with the caption, "He ain't have to do it like that. But at least you can sleep now." Let that sit in your chest. The legal aftermath is brewing like a pot of bitter tea. Chicago PD is reopening Jeff's original murder case, claiming new evidence has surfaced. But let's be real, this ain't about justice. This is about saving face. They buried Jeff like a statistic. And now they're scrambling to look like heroes after the villain was taken care of behind their own bars. But baby, this ain't over, because if DeMarcus's final confession really included names like Take Upon, Pistol Pete, and Officer Carl, then this whole saga is about to spiral into something even darker, a possible Citywood Rico suite, maybe? One thing's for sure, Lil Jeff may be gone, but his ghost is far from silent, and the whispers? They're turning into sirens, and now we ask you, was this real justice, or just another chapter in a system that eats its own? Did Lil Jeff's killer finally pay the price, or was he silenced before the real truth got out? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this story is far from over. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell. We're just getting started with these explosive revelations. Stay woke, stay watching,